People are deadly serious. I mean, this is life and death. I mean, these are peaceful protests, but this is not. It's not a peaceful thing for the government to come in and arrest protesters, and I think the people out there are bracing for that. They're bracing for the RCMP to come in and try to forcibly remove us, and they're bracing to do everything we possibly can to remain in place to stop sort of this violence from being inflicted upon these ancient forests. We will not leave easily. That's going to look like a lot of different things at each location. And even once they do remove us, we're going to come back. They're not going to get rid of us. This is going to keep on going until these forests are protected.
What is the theory behind the fortifications? Because clearly you put fortifications up, it can only slow down the advance of arrests and removal of the blockades and blockaders. So there must be a theory behind that. What is it, Joshua?
What fortifications do is essentially allows us to show the world exactly what they're doing, in the name of profits, in the name of big companies, rather than actually listening to the people. I think there's going to be plenty of time for the international news to see what a spectacle the John Horgan government is basically arresting peaceful protesters for standing up for what's right. And the fact that the BC government is continuing to not only sanction the destruction of these old growth forests, but sanction the arrest of peaceful protesters for standing up for these forests is shameful. They promised in their election promise to work with all stakeholders. Well, we're a stakeholder. We're clearly a stakeholder. We've been out there for 8 months, but they haven't met with us once. They've denied our invitations to have an open dialogue, to sit down with us. So
you've extended that to them?
Absolutely. We reached out to the Minister of Forest saying that we'd love to meet with her. And she said, sorry, we don't view you as a stakeholder in this situation. And yet she'll meet with Teal Jones. She'll go to the meetings of sort of the consortiums of logging companies, and she'll talk about how pellets are the future of green energy, but she won't come and talk to us about why we should preserve old growth forests, when that is literally her mandate from the Premier, and the Premier and her are both ignoring that.
So what about solidarity actions? Are you working with people on that?
There are definitely solidarity actions happening. There are people coordinating across British Columbia. There's potential actions happening in the inland soon. XR has had solidarity actions with arrests in Vancouver, and right now, Teal Jones is based in Surrey. If you live in Surrey, go protest at Teal Jones. Go lock yourself to Teal Jones equipment. We need everybody who cares about this issue to show up to your MLA's office, call the Premier, do whatever it takes. Show up to your local lumber store and make sure they're not buying from Teal Jones. Things as simple as that. We need it all. But what we need right now is an immediate moratorium and conservation financing, economic alternatives for First Nations, and a time to have those talks, rather than just letting the industry have another few years of free-for-all, and then it becomes a non-issue when there's just no old growth forest left.
He says the forest defenders also need their supporters to show up at Fairy Creek.
The biggest thing we can ask for is people to come up to the blockades, because we don't know when the RCMP will show up. They could show up tomorrow. They could be showing up right now for all I know, and I could get a text message in 5 minutes saying, it's game on. So we really don't know. But in the meantime, we need to build up numbers. We need to prepare for them, and we need to be ready. And once the RCMP do roll in, we need everybody who supports us to come out to Fairy Creek. Non-discriminately. We need everybody we can possibly get.
We contacted Premier Horgan's office, seeking responses to criticism of his policies and to ask about misstatements that he's made of late. No response.